Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Will WC Review coming at you with another video. The last video I just made was regarding Sergey Rogovets and the Rhino and the Kentucky special that I had gotten sent to me from two of my pals, Ryan and Steve. Chris Robinson, another pal, who was awesome enough to send me a couple of knives. Sent me this. So without further ado, the Custom Knife Factory Eagle Rock is this knife. As you can see, it's got marbled carbon fiber scales. I would assume this is all titanium. It's got the zirconia pivot collar, excuse me. And if you see it's Bob Terzola influenced, I would assume on the design of the knife. The blade, we'll get to the blade in a second. You ready for this? Bam, look at that thing. Compound grind. I guess this would be a Scandi grind, right? And this would be a full flat grind with a spear point on the tip with the swedge. And it's got, a full-length fuller. And it's got this disc that I would say comes from the Emerson. I think Emerson knives. It's indicative of their stuff and what he uses to deploy the knives. And I believe S90V, let me look. CPM S90V is the blade steel. Now, this knife is a sleeper, right? I've seen it on sites. I happen to be looking at it right now just so I have some data to look at. This knife is a sleeper. It's hard to realize this is almost a 10-inch knife. This is 9 3/4 inches, but check this out. Like silk. I mean, one of my favorite things about this is just the solid. There's not a rattle I like things to be solid, no rattles, no vibrations, and this knife is the epitome of that. Silk. I mean, I know Chris dials in all of his knives. You get a knife from Chris Robinson, it has been dialed in, and this knife is no exception. When you deploy it, it's just bam. It comes right out, it goes right back, but it also speaks to the knife. You can't, you can put a silk hat on a pig, but if a knife ain't smooth, it ain't smooth. And this thing is silky smooth. I really, really like it. I like the size. I like the way it carries in my pocket. I love the blade. I love the size. And I've been into tall blades lately, but this is more indicative of the Spartan Harsey type of knife. I love these as well. I mean, listen, I love all knives, right? But this knife feels, let me back out a little bit. This knife feels so good in hand. I absolutely dig it. Chris, thank you for sending this to me. I think I want this too. I'm going to have to figure something out. I mean, I sent Chris my custom Husky, and he had sent me an Evo, a 3.0 Evo. That was also just a badass knife. Love it. Loved that, but this one, like, I want. The other one I liked and I enjoyed seeing it, but this is something that I'd like to make mine. I really, really dig it. And again, we've all said, but Dave says it the right way. Certain knives speak to you, and they don't all. Some knives, I'm just like, wow, thanks, and I send it back. But this one and the Rhino have spoken to me. And on that note, Chris was kind enough to send me this knife too. This is a pretty rare knife. This is a Skike Rogue Shark. Anyone who knows Peter Skike, he made folding knives, and then he stopped making folding knives. And this is one of his works of art. And this particular knife, sorry, that was lame. Again, is the Rogue Shark, and I do believe that Dave had his hands on this and did the grind on this. So I showed it to my brother, and of all the knives I showed him, he said this one was his favorite, and he thought I said skank. So he was like, hey, I really love the skank. And I had to let him know that it was not a skank, but a skike. And things I don't like about this knife. it's the antithesis of the Eagle Rock when I say smooth. This knife is beautiful, feels great in hand. It's not smooth. Now maybe some of them are, but this knife is overbuilt, super nice. Um, Again, it needs to be dialed in. Does not deploy that well, but it's not that smooth either. Um, and I had another Rogue Shark from Dave that was smoother than this, but this is a badass knife. As you can see, it's got the one-sided thumb stud, and I think this is the knife where he puts the same phosphor bronze bearings in the end of the what the hell is it called? The head thumper here, as he does in the pivot, so that if you ever wear that out and you want to switch them out, you have the same goodies here in the breaker. So again, great knives. I just wanted to say thank you to Chris for both of these, but the one I really like is this one. I like this, and he's turned me on to Custom Knife Factory in general. I've never handled one. I've never seen one. I have seen them and admired them from afar as far as a knife, but now that I've handled them, they are on my radar, and I really, really dig them. Custom Knife Factory. And Skike is just, it's a rare animal. If you can get one and you see one, I recommend grabbing it. But it's not smooth, but it's awesome. Trust me, this knife is awesome, and you can make it smooth. So that's what I'll say about that. But thank you so much. Thanks for both of these, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.